10 minutes a day and gradually increase the time as the habit becomes ingrained in your routine. This approach prevents overwhelm and builds confidence as you experience small wins along the way. Another key factor in building lasting habits is consistency. It's not enough to practice your new habit occasionally. You need to do it consistently to see results. To make consistency easier, tie the new habit to an existing one. This is known as habit stacking, taking something you already do regularly and using it as a trigger for your new behavior. For example, if you already drink coffee every morning, you could use that moment to meditate for 5 minutes or journal. By linking the new habit to an established one, you create a natural and seamless flow, making it easier to stay on track. Accountability can also play a critical role in helping habits stick. When we know someone else is aware of our goals, it provides an extra layer of motivation to follow through. Find a buddy who shares your goals or join a group with similar interests. Whether it's a workout partner, a reading challenge, or a professional mastermind group, having others to check in with can make a huge difference in keeping you accountable and motivated. If that's not possible, consider tracking your progress on your own, using apps or journals to hold yourself accountable. Another important aspect of building habits that stick is to make the habit as enjoyable as possible. The more pleasurable the habit, the more likely you are to stick with it. For example, if you're trying to exercise regularly but dread going to the gym, consider exploring other activities that you enjoy, such as dancing, swimming, or hiking. When your new habit is something you look forward to, it becomes much easier to maintain over time. Similarly, if you're trying to read more books but find it hard to get into a new genre, choose topics or authors that genuinely excite you. Lastly, be patient with yourself. Building habits takes time, and there will inevitably be days when you slip up or feel like giving up. Instead of beating yourself up, focus on progress rather than perfection. It's important to remember that setbacks are a normal part of the process, and they don't mean that you've failed. The key is to get back on track as soon as possible and continue moving forward. Over time, consistency will begin to outweigh the occasional slip-up, and your new habit will become an integral part of your routine. In summary, building habits that stick is about setting yourself up for success by starting small, being consistent, creating accountability, finding joy in the process, and being patient with your progress. With these strategies in place, you can create a routine that supports your goals and leads to lasting success. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about persistence, and the compound effect of small daily actions over time will ultimately lead to big results. One of the most challenging aspects of maintaining consistency is the inevitable resistance that arises on days when you simply don't feel like doing the work. Whether it's because you're tired, overwhelmed, or just not motivated, everyone experiences days where pushing forward feels like an uphill battle. Overcoming this resistance is essential for staying on track and continuing to make progress toward your goals. The good news is that there are several strategies you can use to push through these moments and maintain your momentum, even when motivation is lacking. The first step in overcoming resistance is acknowledging that it's a normal part of the process. It's easy to think that successful people never struggle with procrastination or lack of motivation. But the truth is that everyone faces these moments. Recognizing that resistance is a natural part of any journey allows you to approach it with more compassion and less frustration. Instead of beating yourself up or seeing resistance as a sign that you're failing, understand that it's just a temporary obstacle that can be overcome with the right mindset and tools. One effective way to push through resistance is to rely on the power of routine. When a habit becomes ingrained in your daily life, it requires less mental energy to perform. Even on the days when you don't feel like doing the work, simply going through the motions can be enough to break through resistance. For instance, if you're committed to exercising every morning, it might be hard to summon the energy to work out, but getting into the routine of changing into workout clothes or just doing a few minutes of stretching can be the push you need. Once you begin, you'll often find that the initial resistance fades and you're able to continue with your full workout. The key is to start small and focus on the action rather than the outcome to overcome the initial inertia. Another strategy for overcoming resistance is to remind yourself of your why. When you're feeling unmotivated, reconnecting with the underlying reasons you set your goal in the first place can reignite your drive. Whether it's improving your health, advancing your career, or achieving a personal dream, remembering the bigger picture can help you push through the discomfort of the moment. For example, if you're struggling to write a few pages for a book or project, remind yourself of the sense of accomplishment and fulfillment that completing it will bring. Keeping your long-term vision in mind can help you see beyond the temporary resistance and stay focused on your end goal. Another helpful technique is to use the 5-minute rule. When faced with resistance, commit to working on the task for just 5 minutes. Often, the hardest part is starting, and once you begin, it becomes much easier to continue. This rule takes the pressure off of needing to complete the entire task and makes the effort feel more manageable. It's surprising how often just taking that first small step can lead to a burst of motivation, and you might find yourself continuing for much longer than you initially planned. The 5-minute rule works by tricking your mind into thinking the task isn't as daunting as it seems, reducing the mental block that comes with resistance. Additionally, it's essential to practice self-compassion during moments of resistance. Instead of pushing yourself too hard or criticizing yourself for not feeling motivated, try to approach the situation with kindness. Recognize that you're human and it's normal to have off days. Give yourself permission to take small breaks when needed, but also gently encourage yourself to keep going. The key is to find a balance between being kind to yourself and not letting procrastination or negative thoughts derail your progress entirely. Lastly, accountability can serve as a powerful motivator when it comes to overcoming resistance. Having someone else to check in with, whether it's a friend, colleague, or accountability partner, can help you stay on track even when motivation is low. Knowing that someone is expecting you to follow through creates a sense of responsibility that can push you to act even when you don't feel like it. If you don't have someone to hold you accountable, consider using tools like apps or journaling to track your progress and remind yourself of your commitments. In conclusion, overcoming resistance on the days you don't feel like it is an essential skill for building lasting consistency. By recognizing that resistance is natural, relying on routines, reconnecting with your why, using small actions like the 5-minute rule, practicing self-compassion, and enlisting accountability, you can push through the inevitable moments of low motivation. These strategies help you stay on track, even when the path forward feels difficult, ultimately ensuring that consistency becomes a habit rather than a fleeting effort. The compound effect is one of the most powerful principles in the realm of personal development and success. It's the idea that small, consistent actions, when repeated over time, lead to significant results. Much like compound interest, where the value of your investment grows exponentially over time, the small efforts you put in today can have a far greater impact than you realize in the future. The beauty of the compound effect lies in its subtlety. It's easy to underestimate the power of small actions because the results aren't immediately visible. However, as time goes on, those incremental steps compound into massive changes, whether it's in your personal life, career, or health. This principle is particularly important when it comes to consistency. It's tempting to focus on big, immediate results, but consistency is about making small improvements every day, trusting that those actions will build up over time. For example, if you were to spend just 15 minutes a day reading, that seemingly small effort would add up to hours of knowledge by the end of the month or year. Similarly, if you took 20 minutes each day to exercise, you'd see dramatic improvements in your health and fitness over the long term. While these actions might seem insignificant in isolation, their cumulative effect over time is what leads to transformation. What makes the compound effect so powerful is its ability to work even in the face of setbacks or slow progress. The idea that small actions consistently lead to big results helps you stay motivated during moments of stagnation or when immediate rewards aren't evident. It reminds you that every small step counts, and while results may be gradual, they are inevitable if you stick with your routine. Whether it's financial growth, building a new skill, or making positive changes in your life, the compound effect proves that consistency, not perfection, is the key to lasting success. Every small action you take today is an investment in your future, and with patience and persistence, those efforts will lead to extraordinary results over time. Often seems like a distant dream, reserved for those who make grand gestures or take monumental steps. However, the secret to achieving significant goals lies in the compound effect. The idea that small, consistent actions taken over time can lead to extraordinary results. This principle is rooted in the idea that even modest efforts, when repeated consistently, build momentum and eventually create powerful outcomes. Rather than focusing on quick wins or shortcuts, the compound effect emphasizes the importance of steady, incremental progress. At first glance, small actions may seem insignificant, and it's easy to dismiss their importance. Reading just a few pages of a book every day might not seem like much, but over the course of a year, those few pages can add up to dozens of books and a wealth of knowledge. Similarly, dedicating just 10 minutes a day to physical exercise might feel like a drop in the ocean. However, this small commitment, when sustained over time, can lead to improved health, increased energy, and a significant boost in physical fitness. The compound effect is all about making small choices that, though seemingly inconsequential in the moment, ultimately create a powerful momentum that drives success. The beauty of the compound effect lies in its simplicity. It doesn't require drastic change or immense effort. It's about creating sustainable habits that you can stick with. For instance, consistently saving a small portion of your income each month may not make you rich overnight, but over time, those contributions build wealth and financial security. The key is not to focus on the end result, but to remain dedicated to the process, knowing that each small action you take is contributing to something much larger. In many ways, the compound effect is like planting a seed and nurturing it every day. Every day. The growth might not be immediately visible, and at times, it may feel as though you're not making progress. But as time passes, the tiny seed grows into something much bigger. This is where the magic happens. By staying consistent even when results aren't apparent, you position yourself for significant long-term success. When viewed from a broader perspective, the daily actions you take are laying the foundation for future achievements. One of the most powerful aspects of the compound effect is that it works both positively and negatively. While small positive habits accumulate into major successes, small negative habits, such as procrastination, neglecting self-care, or making unhealthy choices, can also compound, leading to undesirable results. Just as a small act of reading every day can lead to a vast amount of knowledge, procrastinating on important tasks or skipping workouts regularly can pile up, resulting in missed opportunities or negative outcomes. Ultimately, the compound effect teaches us that success isn't a matter of luck or sudden brilliance. It's about the consistency of your efforts over time. Whether you're working on personal development, improving your health, or building your career, every small positive action you take today builds the foundation for bigger achievements down the road. By focusing on small, consistent steps, you are, in effect, creating a powerful snowball effect that propels you forward, one action at a time. Routines are the backbone of consistency, and their power lies in their ability to transform seemingly small actions into significant, long-term results. When we create and follow a structured routine, we remove the decision-making process from our daily tasks, making it easier to stay consistent. The human brain thrives on routines because they require less cognitive effort to execute. Once a habit becomes part of your routine, it becomes automatic, reducing mental friction and making it easier to maintain consistency over time. For example, if you make exercising or journaling part of your morning routine, you're far more likely to stick with it than if you try to fit it into an unpredictable or sporadic schedule. By committing to specific actions at set times each day, you reinforce the discipline required to keep pushing forward, even when external motivation wanes. Over time, the routine becomes a form of structure that holds you accountable to your goals. The key is to design routines that align with your aspirations and personal rhythm, making them sustainable. A productive routine doesn't have to be rigid. It's about creating balance and consistency that works with your natural flow while ensuring progress toward your bigger objectives. Routines can range from simple daily practices to more elaborate schedules, but their power comes from their consistency and their ability to ground you in your goals. In addition, routines provide stability and reduce stress by simplifying decision-making. When every day follows a similar pattern, the chaos of decision fatigue is minimized, and energy can be focused on execution rather than figuring out what to do next. For example, knowing that you dedicate time each day to working on a long-term project or taking care of your health frees your mind from the need to constantly plan or think about when you'll fit those things in. This consistency allows for long-term success because you're steadily working toward your objectives, creating a compounding effect that builds over time. A consistent routine establishes a framework within which you can achieve success, regardless of the inevitable ups and downs of life. Consistency is more than just a matter of willpower or discipline. It's deeply rooted in our psychology. One of the key reasons why small, consistent actions are so effective is that they tap into our brain's natural reward system. When we take small steps toward our goals and experience even modest successes, our brain releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and motivation. This creates a positive feedback loop where each small win reinforces the behavior, making it more likely we will repeat it. Over time, these small wins accumulate, increasing our motivation and propelling us toward larger goals. The concept of small wins is powerful because it helps us build momentum. When we accomplish something, even a small task, our brain perceives it as a success. This triggers feelings of accomplishment and satisfaction, which in turn motivate us to continue making progress. In contrast, when we set lofty goals and experience failure or difficulty early on, it can lead to frustration, a decrease in motivation, and even discouragement. Small wins, on the other hand, provide us with frequent opportunities to feel successful, making the journey toward our larger goals feel more manageable and rewarding. The idea of small wins is closely tied to the concept of self-efficacy, a belief in one's ability to achieve goals. Psychologist Albert Bandura, who introduced the concept of self-efficacy, argued that when individuals experience small successes, it boosts their confidence and reinforces the belief that they can achieve more. This belief in our own abilities is crucial for staying consistent, as it helps us overcome doubts and setbacks along the way. When we see that our small efforts lead to tangible results, our self-efficacy grows, and we're more likely to stay committed to the process. Small wins also have the power to combat procrastination, one of the biggest obstacles to consistency. The reason procrastination is so prevalent is that large tasks often feel overwhelming and can trigger feelings of anxiety or fear of failure. By breaking tasks down into smaller, more manageable steps, we reduce the mental resistance to starting. Each small step completed provides a sense of accomplishment and decreases the anxiety associated with the task as a whole. This incremental progress not only helps us stay motivated, but also helps us avoid the paralysis that comes from trying to tackle too much at once. Another psychological aspect of consistency is the concept of habit formation. Research shows that it takes, on average, 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. This process is greatly enhanced when we focus on small, consistent actions rather than trying to make drastic changes all at once. Each small action reinforces neural pathways in the brain, making the habit easier to repeat. Over time, these behaviors become ingrained in our routine, requiring less mental energy to maintain. The psychological ease of a habitual routine is what allows us to sustain consistency, even when motivation fluctuates. Ultimately, the psychology behind consistency underscores the importance of taking small, achievable steps. By focusing on small wins, we build momentum, increase our self-efficacy, combat procrastination, and create habits that stick. These psychological principles help us stay motivated and committed to our goals, even in the face of setbacks or challenges. As we experience more small wins, our confidence grows, and we're more likely to keep pushing forward, creating a snowball effect of progress that eventually leads to significant success. Accountability plays a crucial role in maintaining consistency, especially when it comes to sticking to long-term goals. Having someone to check in with or being part of a group that shares similar objectives can provide the necessary external motivation to keep moving forward. When we know that someone else is expecting us to follow through on our commitments, it adds a layer of responsibility that makes us less likely to skip or neglect our tasks. This sense of external pressure, even if it's subtle, can be enough to push us past moments of doubt. Moreover, accountability provides an opportunity for feedback and reflection, which can help us stay on track. Whether it's a friend, colleague, or mentor, having someone to share progress with gives us the chance to reassess our approach and make adjustments if needed. Regular check-ins can also serve as a reminder of why we started in the first place, helping us stay connected to our goals and refocus when we veer off course. This feedback loop is essential for long-term success as it helps prevent stagnation and encourages continuous improvement. Knowing that we're not alone in our journey can also make challenges feel more manageable, as we can lean on others for advice and support. For those who prefer a more independent approach, tools like progress tracking apps, journaling, or setting public goals on social media can also serve as forms of self-accountability. These methods create a sense of public commitment, which can motivate us to stay consistent. Even though there might not be another person directly involved, knowing that others are aware of our goals can provide an extra layer of commitment. Accountability, whether through others or self-imposed, plays a significant role in making consistency a habit, ensuring that we continue making progress toward our goals, even when the motivation to do so is lacking. The first step in building unshakable confidence is understanding that who you are today is not the limit of who you can become. Your current identity, shaped by past experiences, beliefs, and habits, may feel like your permanent reality, but it's not. Identity is fluid. It's not fixed. Shoot. It's something you can evolve, adapt, and upgrade, just like a piece of software. To unlock the fullest version of yourself, you have to start by defining who that person is, and then start making conscious choices to align with that vision every day. This process begins with clarity. What does the best version of you look like? How does this upgraded version of yourself think, act, and show up in the world? Is it someone who speaks with authority in meetings? Someone who embraces new challenges without hesitation? Someone who stays calm and resilient in difficult situations? Start by describing this ideal self in vivid detail. The more specific you are about your upgraded identity, the easier it becomes to step into it. Now it's time to disconnect your current self-image from your past mistakes and limitations. Too often, we define ourselves by what we failed at, what others have said about us, or even by things we can't control. But who you were yesterday doesn't define who you are today. The you of tomorrow is waiting for you to take the reins and begin acting in alignment with the future version of you, someone who is confident, capable, and deserving of success. This shift in perspective is liberating because it tells you that your past doesn't dictate your future. Past doesn't dictate your future. To upgrade your identity, start by changing your habits. Your identity is the sum of your daily actions, and small habits compound over time to reshape who you are. If you want to be someone who feels confident in every room, start practicing the actions of confidence now, even when you don't feel ready. Stand taller, speak with conviction, engage with people more openly. These actions send signals to your brain that you are evolving, that you are stepping into a new identity. The more you act in alignment with your desired self, the more your brain reprograms itself to believe that this is who you really are. Another critical part of upgrading your identity is self-compassion. We often fall into the trap of believing that in order to become someone new, we have to completely reject or fix everything we don't like about ourselves. But true transformation happens when we accept ourselves as we are, with all of our flaws and imperfections, while still striving for growth. By acknowledging where you are without judgment and choosing to improve, you open the door for true, lasting change. Your upgraded identity should also be rooted in purpose. Confidence isn't just about how you feel about yourself. It's about having something you're deeply passionate about. When you have a sense of purpose, you walk through life with direction and clarity. This makes confidence easier to build because you're not just acting for validation, you're acting with meaning. Ask yourself, What do I truly care about?